Hello, welcome back to another lesson from Unit 3, our Chemistry and Society block. Today we are taking a breather from extraction of metals and we are going to be looking at percentage composition. Now, some of you may already have done percentage composition, but it's an important skill and it is well worth going back over. So, our learning intention for today is to calculate the percentage of an element in a compound. And by the end of the lesson, you will be able to calculate the percentage of any element in a compound from its formula. The percentage of a particular element in a compound can be calculated. Now, we can extend that to the percentage of any element in a compound when we know the formula of the compound. Now, this is particularly important when we consider our metal ores. So, here are a selection of metal ores, and we can see that each different ore all contain copper, but all have a very different percentage of copper. Now, this is important when we are trying to extract metals from their ores. We need to know how much of the metal to expect. So, chalcopyrite has 34%, bornite 63%, malachite 57%, and cuprite 89%. So if you had to pick an ore to extract copper from, which one do you think would be the best one to choose? So as you already know from our previous lessons, most metals are found in the Earth's crust as different ores. So hematite and magnetite both contain iron in different oxides. We need to know how much iron to expect from each ore, and this is done through calculation. You need to remember how to calculate formula mass. That's important for percentage composition. So, just to get our heads back in the game, we are going to take a break. We are going to calculate the formula mass of sodium hydroxide, aluminium phosphate, and iron oxide. Okay, sodium hydroxide. Here is how we calculate formula mass. So, sodium, we have one sodium and its formula mass is 23. We have one oxygen, its formula mass is 16. And we have one hydrogen, its formula mass is 1. So we've got 23, 16 and 1. That gives us a formula mass of 40. Aluminium phosphate, let's go again. So we have one aluminium. Aluminium has a mass of 27. Then we have one phosphorus. It has a mass of 31. And then we have 4 oxygens. They have a mass of 16. So we've got 27, 31, and 64. That gives us, okay, iron oxide. We have 2 times 56 and we have 3 times 16. So we have 112 and 48. That gives us a total of 160. If we are comfortable with that, let's move on. So, percentage composition again. What would the percentage of aluminium be in aluminium oxide? So the first thing we have to do to work this out is work out the formula mass. So that would be 2 times 27 plus 3 times 16 is 102. The mass of 1 mole of aluminium oxide is 102. What mass of aluminium is present? So 2 times 27 is 54. So in 102 grams of aluminium oxide, we have 54 grams of aluminium. To work out the percentage of aluminium, we have to have the mass of aluminium divided by the mass of 1 mole multiplied by 100. So in this example, we have 54 grams of aluminium, that goes on top, divided by the mass of 1 mole, multiplied by 100, and it gives us 53%. So, as a team, we are going to calculate the percentage of nitrogen in NH4NO3, the percentage of lead in PbSO4, calculate the percentage of calcium in calcium fluoride, calculate the percentage of lead in lead oxide. So, if you would like to take a minute and try and work these ones out for yourself, feel free to do so. Pause the video here and we will crack on with the calculations in a bit. So, the percentage of nitrogen in ammonium nitrate. Let's start by working out the formula mass. The formula is NH4NO3. This would be 14, 4, 14 again, and 3 times 16 is 48. That gives us a grand total of, and we get 35%. So the percentage of nitrogen in ammonium nitrate is 35%. What about the percentage of lead in lead sulfate? So again, the first thing we do is we work out the formula mass, which is the mass of 1 mole of lead sulfate. Formula mass of lead is 207. Sulfur has a formula mass of 32. And 4 times 16 is 64. Now if we take a moment to add these together, that's 207 plus 32 plus 64 gives us 303. Step 2 then is to work out the percentage of lead. To do that, we do mass of lead divided by the formula mass, or mass of 1 mole, of lead sulfate, and we multiply by 100. So, the mass of lead, 207, divided by the mass of lead sulfate, 303, multiplied by 100 gives us 68.3%. So in 1 mole of lead sulfate, 68.3% of that mass is made of lead. What about calcium and calcium fluoride? Again, the first thing we do is we calculate the formula mass for calcium fluoride. Calcium has a formula mass of 40, and fluorine, of which we have 2, has a formula mass of 19. So that gives us 40 plus 38. 78. Next up, we want to work out the percentage of calcium. To do so, we do the mass of calcium divided by the formula mass of calcium fluoride, and we multiply by 100. So our mass of calcium is 40, our formula mass is 78, and when we divide 40 by 78 and then multiply by 100, we get 51.3%. Calcium accounts for 51.3% of the formula mass in calcium fluoride. Okay, final example then. The percentage of lead in lead oxide. So, we have, first up, formula mass. Lead oxide. We already know that lead has a formula of 207. If we times that by 3, we get 621. Oxygen has a mass of 16. If we times that by 4, we get 64. Add the two together, we have 685. Next up, we then calculate the percentage of lead. To do so, we do the mass of lead divided by the formula mass of lead oxide, and we multiply by 100. So we are going to divide 621 by 685 and multiply the answer by 100. That gives us a total of 90.7%. So the percentage of lead in lead oxide is 90.7%. So before the next time I see you, I would like you to complete these 6 questions, and I will start the next lesson by revising those. So our learning intention was to calculate the percentage of an element in a compound, and to be successful you would have to calculate the percentage of any element in a compound from its formula. In order to make sure that you have been successful, it is important that you complete these questions here, and we will go over them next time. If you do have any questions, please send me or your class teacher a quick email and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Bye everyone!